All right, so to hit solid shots from the fairway, we got to make sure our shoulder line is down. All right, so make sure your takeaway is good, shoulder line is down. And then, ideally, we want to roll our bottom on an imaginary wall. All right, so I want you to do this without a club first. Find a wall, get into your golf posture, make sure you have a little room here. Cross your arms. Now, as you rotate, this shoulder is going to go down and around as you sit into your back hip, making sure your shoulder line is down and making sure your bottom is in contact with that wall. Now, from here, keeping this passive, you're going to roll your bottom on the wall, and then you're going to stand up. All right, that's the sequence. So this is training, sitting into that back hip, making sure you have enough hip depth in your swing, and then keeping your bottom on that wall, maintaining your hip depth, and then standing up tall. All right, this is really important. All right, that creates space. You're going to do that with your obliques. All right, so I've talked about this in previous tips. So you're going to get to the top, shoulder line down, and fire the obliques, and the hips are going to roll on an imaginary wall. All right, and that's going to help you keep your forward bend and shallow the club. All right, if you're steep in any way, so say you're aggressive on the downswing, all right, you're not going to be able to stay in your forward bend, all right, because otherwise you just chunk it. So what happens when we get steep, you're going to have to stand up to save the shot. So it's really important to make sure that you're on plane. All right, ideally you want a smooth wall. I don't have one at the moment. All right, but get into your golf posture, make sure you have some space here. All right, slowly turn into your backswing, making sure that you sit into your hip and the shoulder line is down. All right, you want your hands as close to the wall as possible. All right, so we get enough hand depth and hip depth. Now from here, you're going to roll your bottom on the wall, and the club is going to slide down as you do that. And then you're going to rotate through from there. All right, that's key to maintain your hip depth on the downswing, to create room for the club to swing through. When players go off, two ways. One, they move towards the ball, so they get jammed and they have to do this action. All right, so if you struggle from weak rights or block shots, this may be it. Or they get to the top and they immediately do this with a club. All right, so both are no bueno. So use a wall to train your golf swing. So you can roll your bottom on the wall and keep in your forward bend. That's important. All right, so vertical, getting too steep, whatever the cause may be, creates a lot of problems during the downswing. All right, so focus on a really good setup and takeaway. Keep your shoulder line down. Swing out to the right. When I say sit into your back hip, you're sitting into your back hip like this. All right, where I say players go off is they don't move their hips, all right, and they end up not turning, so this shoulder is over the front foot. All right, so if you get a little deeper with your hips, but not over-rotating, just a little bit deeper, it gets the hands a little bit deeper too. All right, we don't want the hands here, that's no good. So players that don't move their hips kind of just take their arms back like this, all right, and then you're going to come over the top. So really allow, right out of the gate you can keep them quiet, but then allow the hips to rotate. So you have an angle with your shoulder line and your hip line. This is really important. All right, that's going to help you strike this ball, because the ball is just sitting there, down there. That's why we have forward bend and side bend, so we can actually hit the ball. It's not like up here where it's flat like a baseball. That's why we have to have our bends and our tilts. That's important. All right, so I have a shaft here on my hip joints, and I'm going to move my pressure a little bit during the takeaway. All right, so say this is 50-50, boom. Then I'm going to rotate. All right, that's key, and it creates an angle here with the leg. All right, that's another key. So it's really important to do that. So you start 50-50, a little transfer, rotate. All right, so if you focus on the rotation of the hip, that usually takes care of the shoulder line. So if you've done dumbbell rows at the gym, say take the dumbbell and you row it, it's the same thing. All right, look, it's the same action. Or take a lawnmower, you know those old-fashioned lawnmowers where you gotta crank it up? Crank up the lawnmower. Look what it does to the hip. You're not gonna do the lawnmower or the dumbbell row like this, are you? Well, you could do the dumbbell row like this, but you're not gonna do the lawnmower like this because there's like no leverage. This gives you a little leverage and creates a longer pull. All right, so that's the key. We gotta get this hip rotating, and doing the lawnmower helps you with that angle. All right, so do the lawnmower. And you're gonna get more pars.